Yep. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check. Mic check
Mic
1
check,
2
mic
3.
check.
Establish a perimeter on the area they feel is necessary out of abundance.
All right, mic check, mic check. Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can
can't.
hear you guys.
Oh yes, we can hear you.
You can
We
hear
can
me?
hear you,
Okay.
Bo.
All right, I can hear you guys.
Okay, this is not going too far. It can work. Huh?
Sorry, it's not funny.
Lipstick?
Tell him he's good.
You're good, Bo.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. We interrupt local news live here for our first alert fastcast in the afternoon. Welcome into the newsroom here at WBAY. We're going to get right to it because we are following breaking news out of Appleton, where we have crew on scene there. Appleton police say officers are actively working on a scene in the 1300 block of South Riverdale Drive. We're getting information as we speak. Drivers are asked to use alternate routes when traveling in the area. Police said they are working with schools in the area to keep them updated on the situation. We did just have a reporter on scene talk to Megan Cash there with Appleton Police. Based on the history they're saying with this person in previous interviews, police had concerns. They did a welfare check. This person may have firearms. With the history they have there, they established a perimeter and have SWAT team out there right now. Different resources, including drone technology, and negotiators are there on the scene as well, dealing with this breaking news. They're going to monitor the situation. They've established a perimeter where they feel is necessary. Again, they're asking people to avoid that area. They are working with schools in the area to keep them updated on the situation, and that is just out of an abundance of caution. We are there, and we're still working to learn more, but we'll be there as the night continues. Moving on to our next story here. Give me a second. Still working with some new technology here. I'm sure we're all well aware that the deer hunt is starting up this week. Anticipation has grown for quite some time. Hundreds of thousands of people are preparing to flock to the woods. The conditions for hunting this year will not be as good as last year, we're told, because last year's was exceptionally good due to snow on the ground to increase visibility, as well as a milder winter, which kept harvest high. This year, northern areas had an intense winter season, which is decreasing the harvest, but they're expecting warmer weather during the hunt, so no snow for increased visibility. Roughly 550,000 people will be out deer hunting this week in our state. I know in Michigan, deer hunt season already started. People come from all over the U.S., even from other countries. And they're spending about $50 each time they go out, whether it's food or travel or equipment. So there's definitely a boost to the economy. And just a reminder that it is required you register the deer with the DNR. That's available both online and in person. The DNR has a list of roughly 75 businesses across the state that still offer in-person registration. Another story that we're following today, and we talked to some students and some professors over at NWTC, and this is actually my story today, so I learned a ton of new information today about antibiotics and antibiotic resistance. So people or students there at NWTC, they're doing research all the time. Well, they recently got a soil sample from Pamperin Park, and what they found is that there's a bacteria in there that is creating an antibiotic that could potentially be the next antibiotic that we use to fight things like E. coli or strep throat or illnesses of that nature. Now, the professor I talked to says we haven't had like a new strain, like a new batch of antibiotics since the 90s. So they're saying like this could potentially lead to new antibiotics being used. We know that the World Health Organization is really concerned about the future of antibiotics because there are a lot of antibiotic resistant infections out there. You probably hear of them as like superbugs or something of that nature. The reason those is just because of misuse or overuse of antibiotics. Some people will be given antibiotics and don't take the whole 7 days that they're supposed to because, you know what, day 4 you start feeling pretty good, so you save them and hold off for another, you know, when you might catch it again. And the professionals say do not do that because that gives the infection billions of ways that it could mutate, and then that antibiotic further down the road will not work. So a little bit more about that, but it really puts NWTC on the map. And again, these are undergrad students that worked on this, and now they're published in 3 papers, so we'll have more about that as well. And now if we jump over to sports, here's some awesome video that we got sent right to our newsroom. This is a send-off for the state-bound Spartans. This video earlier today, they're on their way to Madison to play in Division IV state championship tonight against Lodi. Their conference rival, Wrightstown, plays this afternoon in Division 5 championship against Aquinas. Action 2 Sports will have highlights tonight, of course. All right, that's enough of all of our stories that we're covering, but we want to check in on weather because we've got deer hunt season getting underway as well. There we go. Bo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Brittany.
Awesome. All right, give us a lowdown of the weather that you're kind of looking at and what you're. Go for it.
Yeah, so obviously right now it is very warm outside. I think the moment you step outside, it's not going to feel like November whatsoever. Temperatures right now are in the mid to upper 60s. A couple of areas, maybe even between Fond du Lac and Sheboygan, could be around 70 degrees as we speak. And the winds are coming in from the south, bringing in that warmer air, but it's very windy out there, between 15 to 25 miles per hour. In terms of wind gusts in the past hour, we've reached near 40 miles per hour around Sheboygan and Watoma. So it's gone very windy out there, especially with the cold front coming in from the west. So the winds are going to continue on being breezy for a little bit longer. Heading into tonight, once the cold front starts passing us, then that's how we're going to start seeing the winds calm down. And then by tomorrow, it'll still be a little breezy, not as bad. And then heading into the weekend, the winds will be much calmer and the sunshine will still stick around. But temperatures are going to fall back to normal, Brittany. So temperatures going to be normal this weekend, but we're not going to see any snow on the ground. So not going to be good for visibility for hunters, but overall it should be a solid weekend for the gun opening season.
All right. Thanks so much, Bo. Appreciate your time.
No problem. Thanks.
All right. So let's go back to a little bit more of what we have coming up in our shows later on today as well. So let me just pull those up for you here. All right. Oh, can't find my mouse. Found it. Here we go. Here's what's coming up. So at 4 o'clock, Green Bay Police Department released a statement saying that an officer who was hit a suspect with his squad car will resign at the end of the year. Officer Matthew Knudsen was criminally charged but avoided a trial by pleading no contest to attempted misconduct in office. He is ordered to pay fines as well and fees, but he will not have probation. Then at 4:30, Chris Roth talks to the Alloway Village president, talking about GBCI in the wake of Governor Tony Evers' announced plans to lift some restrictions at Green Bay Correctional Institution and Waupun, kind of easing the overcrowding, addressing safety and staffing concerns. Chris Roth will talk to him about the capital study coming up, so you'll learn a little bit more about that. Tonight at 5, we've talked about the syncytial virus, the respiratory syncytial virus, also known as RSV. That vaccine was recently approved for infants, and of course, with the respiratory viruses kind of impacting locally all over the nation, there is a shortage of the vaccine. So we'll learn a little bit more about that, what it looks like here in our area, and when those are expected to ease. And then tonight at 6, of course, your Small Towns Nina with Jeff Alexander. Tonight we're heading to Nina. You're going to meet a machine shop owner who got a recent patent for a new device. He, built a car to show off that system to auto companies. It had some flaws, but they readjusted, and it's kind of changed hands multiple times. But a really, really cool invention, and it kind of came back home. So Jeff Alexander will walk us through that as well. I want to draw you back to just that breaking news that we are following again out of Appleton. Let me bring that up for you here. Let me take down my menu as well so that I can show you that video. There you go. So again, we're following breaking news out of the Appleton area. Police officers, you can see the SWAT team is out there as well. They're actively working on a scene at 1300 block of South Riverdale Drive. Police were there to do a welfare check based on past interactions with this person. There were concerns. There were also concerns about firearms. The SWAT team has put out a perimeter. They have different resources there, including drone technology and, of course, negotiators. They're going to monitor the situation. We know that they have contacted area schools and kind of put them on alert for safety reasons, just to make sure that everybody's on the same page, because we're nearing the end of school, of kids going home. So parents need to be aware of that, but avoid the situation if you can. We're going to continue to provide you updates on air and online as we get them. But as for now, that's the end of our First Alert Fastcast here tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. And we'll be back here tomorrow at 2:30, and we'll see you then.